Hey, this is Mark, and I've got another long screw damage. This time it is an iPhone 6. The entire pad for the screw bracket has been ripped off the board. It's a lot of delamination and damage into the second layer. Maybe even damage into the third layer. We'll see. Trying out a new angle with the camera on my hands, but it requires the camera to be like really close to what I'm working on, and so that the macro lens works. So I don't know how well this is going to work. I may have to rearrange things because this thing is cramping my style a little bit. So with this one, it looks like the damage is bad enough that it makes sense to go ahead and take off this shield. So that's what I'm doing now. Alright, so it looks like definitely somebody's been up in here before me. Pulled off that screw bracket to check for long screw damage, I guess. There doesn't seem to be any there. This hole looks like there is some long screw damage down in this hole. So I definitely have my work cut out for me here. Oh, hey Joe. Good to see you. Don't worry, man. I am planning to get your stuff packed and ready to go today. Actually, that's next on my to-do list after I do this job. So yeah, still doing the long screw damage repairs. I need to just change my YouTube information channel name, whatever, to be just the long screw damage show, because that's pretty much what it's turned into. Lewis tells me I need to make the channel about me and make it the Mark show and just kind of do what he does and just talk about whatever's on my mind. But I don't know, that's not really my thing. I have a hard time coming up with things to talk to myself about while people watch. I'm not an entertainer. It's not in my blood. Alright, so get some of this flux cleaned off so I can see what I'm working with here a little better. Alright, so this definitely has to go. This is not all that spongy. So this could be worse. I've seen worse. This shouldn't be that bad. Ah, that was smooth. Love it when that kind of thing works out. Just slice just as much as I want off of that top layer without going too far, without going too deep. Alright, come on. I think it might be time for a new blade. There we go. Alright, so looks like I'm in pretty good shape here. Not a lot of delamination of the second layer. It's really just the layer between layers here. Want to be careful of that trace though. That, yeah, it looks like that's already broken. Nothing I can do about that but cry. Yeah, both of these are gonna have to go. So now I've got nothing to work with here except for these just little nubs of the trace. Now I can, and I have in other videos, repositioned this diode here. I can just kind of turn it to connect from this pad to the pad of the connector pin. And in doing that, I can lift up this trace to get to more of these traces that are underneath here. But I'm gonna try to get away with not having to do that. We'll see if that works. Probably won't, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Oh, if I can stop chewing up this. Yeah, I done goofed. I don't have enough there to connect to anymore. So it looks like I will be doing that. All right. It's incredibly easy to make this job harder than it has to be with this long screw stuff. It's really easy to turn something that is relatively straightforward into something that is really, really difficult. Like I just demonstrated, even with experience, being, you know, probably the person in the world who's done the most long screw damage repairs, I still make my job harder for myself regularly. It's just the nature of this repair. It's very, very delicate and very hard to do without fucking it up. Don't try this at home, kids. Let's see. Tesla's Apple says, have you ever had damage in the exact area that showed no signs of screw damage but was there? I have a 6 with crashing setting screens, no Wi-Fi, no flashlight, but not a suggestion of long screw damage. No, you absolutely do not start investigating long screw damage if there's no signs of it. You know, maybe go as far as taking the screw bracket off just so you can confirm that a screw did not touch the board. But if you don't see signs that a screw has carved into the board at all, then do not start exploring, because you will definitely just make non-existent problems into problems. All right. So when I reposition this guy, I like to do it with hot air because this space is really tight. So what I do is take some leaded solder and tin up those pads, and then just float it on there with some hot air. Let's get you out of the way, little guy. So this pad is ground. It always takes a bit to get it nice and hot. This is a diode that is on the ear speaker line that I could probably leave off. I don't think it, well, I know it won't affect the functionality of ear speaker. You know, the ear speaker is still going to work just fine. But I believe its purpose is ESD protection, because you find these diodes on any line that reaches to the outside of the phone. So you find them on the power button, on ear speaker lines, on you know, I can't think of what else, but the kind of stuff that could potentially receive electrostatic discharge. So, you know, it's not necessary for function, but I like to keep it on there just in case. There we go. All right, so now that guy is out of my way, but still part of his circuit and doing his thing. Now I could just cut this trace out completely and just run a jumper from there over to this filter. But I'm only going to do that if I have to. Oh, Mama's home and baby is happy. I'm streaming, honey. Just FYI. All right, now I've got a lot more of these traces to work with. Okay, let's see. Oh shit, dropped my tweezers. That's a big no-no. It's my greatest fear is having these land tip down. They look fine, great. All right, now I got to figure out what angle I can actually work on this with this camera in my way. I wish I had another camera so I could show how this is set up, but basically I've got a Canon DSLR just kind of on my work surface on a little tripod pointing straight down at what I'm working on here, and it's couldn't be more in the way. All right, so definitely we got to fix these, what is it, 4 up here? Those are going to be a problem. Let's see, this little lollipop guy I think is going to be okay. Yeah, I don't think he's broken. Nope, good. All right, so we got to fix these guys down at this end. Oh, yeah, no point in exposing those there. Just need this end of them. How was your day, honey?
My exam was hard. No. Yep. I want to touch the bag. You want what? I want to touch the bag. I know you do, sweetheart.
You want to talk to Dad, Max?
We're still on about the cupcake egg.
Oh, that's what he's saying. I want the cupcake egg.
Yeah,
Oh, poor boy.
On the way home about all he wants is that cupcake egg.
Yeah, so my son Max, who's 3.5, had an Easter egg hunt at preschool, and he found a really cool cupcake-shaped egg. But the rule of the Easter egg hunt is every egg that you find goes into a big bin, and then at the end of the Easter egg hunt, they split it up evenly between the kids. So basically, it's a communist Easter egg hunt. To each according to his need. Apparently, Max's need did not include the need of a cupcake-shaped egg. So he did not get his special cupcake egg that he found, and he's been very upset about that. So Tesla's Apple says, what knife am I using? What blade? I'm using a, let's see if I can get it in here. This is a surgical scalpel carbon steel, and it's number 11. I find that the tips tend to hold up much better than the hobby knife ones. They're made out of a much stronger metal. I do break tips on them regularly still, but not as often as the hobby knife ones. As soon as I touch the tip to the board, some portion of it would break off, guaranteed every time. These tend to hold up a lot better, and they also keep their edge for longer. They stay sharp for longer. And the price difference really is negligible. I think I paid like $7 or $8 for a pack of 100 of these. So maybe double the cost of a hobby knife. Yeah, that's right, Greg. I can also perform emergency surgery if I need to. Honey, if you need an emergency tracheotomy, I have surgical scalpels here. They're sterile. And I have really steady hands.
You do have really steady hands.
Yeah, see? All right, so I think I'm going to try and connect down at this end first. It's going to be a bit tricky with the way I have the camera set up. I'm really not a fan of this. I like the view that it gives of what my hands are doing. I think that's really useful for people who are watching to pick up technique ideas. But it really is a pain in the ass. I'm not a fan. Maybe I need to get like I don't know. I'm not a camera guy, so I don't know. Maybe a telephoto lens so I can have it farther away but still zoom. This macro lens is definitely not cutting it.
Finish my chips and I'll go check.
Let's see, Christopher Santiago says, Mark, what would make an iPhone 6 lose earpiece function as well as no sound input while in voice memo app? Also, calls only work on speakerphone. All of this after backlight rebuild. Let's see, that's a lot there. We got earpiece, no microphone in voice memo app. Calls only work on speakerphone. Does that mean that ear speaker and microphone don't work on speakerphone, or on a regular phone call only on speakerphone? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I guess I would. It sounds like this is like upper mic and uh, front camera flex stuff, like upper mic and an ear speaker. So I guess what I would assume is that the heat from the backlight rebuild caused these guys in here, little peckers that are right underneath front camera flex, to get hot and start to lift off the board a little. So I would check those guys out first. You know, if you don't see anything that's obviously loose and needs to be resoldered, then start taking diode mode measurements in the front camera connector and compare to a known good and go from there. Yes, Max? What's up, bud?
You're supposed to close the date of you can't come in the office because you put the
I'm supposed to close the gate so Fiona can't come in my office. Yeah, you're right. I am. I'm supposed to close that gate so she can't come in here.
yeah, or she talks loud to do that.
Fiona, you don't get both. Pick one. Which one do you want? You want this one or that one? This one? Okay, well, then Max gets to use this one. Not the iPad.
Uh-oh.
Maxwell, there you go. Leave it plugged in, okay? Because it still needs to charge. So just sit here and use it. Fiona, you can take your own shoes off. Or Miss Boss pants.
Ugh. Man, this is really, really difficult with not being able to put my hands where I want them. Let's see if I reposition my chair, if this will help.
Yeah.
Oh, turned the other iron on accidentally. I was wondering why having such a hard time melting this. Come on. Why? Okay, there we go. Now the hot tweezers are back in business. All right, I think that's going to work for that line.
Turning your head somewhere. It's a hair tie. It's really baby hair ties. Don't look like mommy's hair ties. They're for little babies. Your hair is just not working.
Make sure these two lines are not unintentionally bridged here. I think I'll just try and cut a little section of that off. There we go. No chance of bridging there. And let's see. All right, that guy's out of the way. Not bridged to anything. Okay. Now I just got to knock out these little short ones, and we should be in business.
You just can't go. Be honest. You're using this one. Not that one. Don't make it have both of them. Deal with it, girl.
Trying to straighten that wire as much as I can. All right. And I've turned on the other iron again. How do I keep doing that? That's driving me nuts. There we go. That's what you're supposed to do. Don't connect to the ground. Ah, shit. You're too close to that ground, guy. No, stay away from the ground. There we go. Think that'll work. Let's see. Somebody says, Tesla's Apple says, shakes suck. Try to relax and breathe. If you're talking to me, I'm not actually shaking as much as it looks like. It's like a combination of me kind of moving the microscope camera around with my nose pressing against it, and the fact that everything is so small that a tiny movement translates into a huge movement. I feel like my hands are pretty steady. Sometimes I do get like shakier than I can work with, and in those cases I'll have a scotch, and that fixes it right up. No, get on that one. There we go. That's where I want you.
Oh my god. You are adorable. You're so cute. Mark,
Yeah?
take your son to get a haircut. I have put his hair in a little rat tail to demonstrate to you that is too high.
I'll get his hair cut once you can make a man bun. My son is in desperate need of a haircut, and my wife, Cecilia, is very against my idea of let's give him a mullet. She doesn't want to have Max have a mullet.
No. Not in this house.
Not in this house.
Fiona, you don't get both of them. Feel
All right, there we go. All the traces are repaired. Now let's see if I can get this thing to boot up. So I just realized that the camera that I'm using to show my hands is usually positioned in such a way that I can show the phone booting up, but it is no longer, that is no longer the case. Hopefully I can arrange things so that we can get some Apple logo in that camera. Let's see. Alright, well, looks like I am not getting any image. Let's just hook up DC power supply, make sure that it is actually booting. Oh, there was long screw damage on the other side. Duh, that's why. Forgot all about that.
Yes.
Thought I was done, but no. Just getting started. Actually, this side's the easy side, so this should go pretty quickly. I forget what line it is over here that will stop a phone from booting, but I know there is one. Maybe there's more than one. I don't know. I haven't put a lot of effort into memorizing what all of the lines for long screw damage are. So even though I do a ton of it, I I don't know what all the lines are and what they do. Some of them I have memorized, but for the most part, you know, it's really not important because for most of these, the goal is to make a fully functional phone and not just get it working good enough to get data. So my approach is not to be worried about, you know, which lines are absolutely necessary to repair. I just repair everything. So if I'm going to repair all of the broken lines, then who cares what they do? Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Hey, honey, what you doing?
Snacking. I'm hungry. I didn't eat very much before there.
Would you want to come in here for a few minutes while I finish this up and help me keep an eye on what's going on in the chat? You know, just watch the chat that's on the screen and let me know if somebody asks a question that I should answer. Well, you can leave the gate open. They can come in if they want to, as long as you're here to pay attention to them.
Man, my eyes are bad. Can't see shit.
So what did you have a test in today?
Genetics.
Genetics. And what was that all about?
I don't know, man. It was just like basic Mendelian genetics and chromosome crap.
I bet Jessa would love to hang out with you and talk about the stuff that you're learning. She's
Probably.
really into that stuff still, but doesn't really have people to talk to about it.
Well, she'll be a lot more entertained with me talking about it once I go through 3 semesters of bio and all the organic chemistries and the biochem and genetics classes. I imagine I'll be a lot more interesting of a conversationalist than her. But at this point, I'm still in the basics territory.
All right, so let's see if these lines are broken. Let's see. I'm just checking the chat. Somebody says, Mark, has Mark left iPad Rehab? No, that's why I have the iPad Rehab logo and a link at the bottom on all my videos, because I have not left iPad Rehab. So if you would like me to fix something for you, go to iPadRehab.com and in your request say, I specifically want Mark to fix my thing because he is the best. Alright, so these lines are not damaged. That fat one in the center is just ground, so I'm not even worried about him. But I am going to tin over these just to kind of toughen them up a little bit. Looks like probably the top layer was just grounding. And that was what the problem is. One of these lines was grounded. Woo. Getting a little bit more tinned on there than I had really intended to. Just want to cover that little divot there. Stupid ground. You are not doing a very good job of informing me of what's going on in chat.
Well, no one said anything since you left.
Well, this is going to come up in your performance review. Just so you know.
My paycheck.
It's going in your permanent record.
Well, you have to have give me 3 warnings before you fire me. It's in my contract.
Well, I believe you've already gotten 2 demerits.
That's bullshit. My record is spotless.
I'm going to have to check the files. Let's see, somebody else. Q's Tech Service says, Mark, how did you come across meeting Jessa and working with her? Good question. So I started off doing general phone repair back. I believe the iPhone 5 had just come out. I know the iPad 2 was the newest iPad, so I'm not sure exactly what year that was, but I remember running across many of Jessa's posts on the iFixit forums. So I kind of knew who she was, and then I ran across her posting in some Facebook repair groups and reached out just to kind of show her my progress, my personal progress in board repair. And I guess we just kind of developed a friendship, and would, you know, she kind of mentored me for a little while online, and eventually suggested that I start working with her and doing, you know, she shipped work down to me, and the rest is history. Says, let's see, Meoi Al-Samari says, Mark, please make Touch ID Flex repair. No, absolutely not. Simple answer to that. No fucking way. I've done that before. I've done the job, and I hate it, and I will not do it anymore. So, no, not gonna happen. Sorry. Alright, so I'm still not getting this to boot, so now we will see what it's doing on DC power supply. Sitting at 280 milliamps. Now it's jumping up to 300, 400, 180, 240. Yeah, so it looks like it's booting, and we just don't have image. So let's go back to the other side and see what's up with that. So something is not right about one of these traces. Let's just see. Alright, we'll start with this guy. The little lollipop that I didn't mess with. So he's connected. That's fine. Alright, well, what's your deal? Other image line. Well, you're connected too. Well, what the hell? You're both connected. You should be working.
To be honest, stomping on the floor next to you a problem. She's standing there stomping.
No, it's okay right now. Let's see. I know this big fat one over here is the 5.7 volt line.
You're such a good dancer.
So let's just see what voltages I get. Check out my voltages while this is booting up. Yeah, baby, you got a lot to say, don't you?
So much.
She's just stoked that she's allowed to be in here.
I know.
Like this is no man's land for the kids. Yeah, you kids stay out of Daddy's office. But today you get to run around, bang on stuff. Alright, that's not grounded. Those guys are all okay. And those aren't related to image anyways, but I just wanted to double check.
Don't yank on Daddy. She lost your attention.
Well, she's not going to get it right now.
Well, that makes her.
Hey, baby. Hey, little cutie. You cutie girl. I am not picking you up. Not going to happen, baby.
High five.
Alright, let's see what kind of voltage I'm getting on these lines.
Alright, next. Get down.
So I want 1.8 on these two. Got 1.8 there, and 0. 0.04. Alright. And then we got 0.8 here, which should be 5.7, but I expect this to be really low or non-existent because that's only ever going to be present if you're actually getting image. So, alright, so it looks like that tiny little hint of damage down here is, well, no. Thought I saw a tiny little break in this line. So this is, what line is that? That's LCM enable, I think. And I believe this is a test point for him. Let's just see. Oh, gotta switch back to diode mode. Yep, so Let's see if he has continuity into the connector.
Really?
I think it's that pin. Ugh, such a pain in the ass to do this. Alright, well, I've got continuity all the way through, so what the hell, man? Let's see, do I have a short to ground somehow on that line? No, that's fine. Well, what is your problem, guy? Maybe I got some crap in here? No, that seems like that's not causing a problem. Damn you, phone. Just work. Now, I just used this screen not too long ago, today, so I don't think there's any chance that it's bad LCD. Let's just try this again. Definitely still getting no image. And the phone does appear to be booting. Go back and check voltage on this line again. 0.118. And still 1.8 here. So what the hell is your problem, dude? Why are you low? God, just don't be like that. Let's see if maybe adjusting pins in the connector will work. I'm fairly certain that this won't work. Oh, we got some junk in the connector there. Shouldn't cause a problem. I used to prefer the micro pencil, but I have since just started using the mini hot tweezers and not really picking up the micro pencil. And I can't say that I prefer the mini hot tweezers, but I just find it to be more convenient to, you know, I don't prefer the micro pencil enough that it's worth disconnecting the hot tweezers and connecting the micro pencil. So I use the FM202 station, so I only have 2 ports, and I tend to just always have the hot tweezers and the big whatever it is, 2025 or what is that guy? FL2027 with the BCM2 tip. Keep those connected all the time, and mini micro pencil is just collecting dust now. And actually, funny story, we got those for the class that we do in New York. So every station had a micro pencil as well as the hot tweezers and the 2027, and it took about a year for me to ban them entirely. So now, like, I have them all gathered up, back hidden away, and students have to request specifically to use it, and they have to be able to articulate why they need it, because every class, at least one person would be using the micro pencil for something that it is not appropriate for, which is basically anything besides trace repair, micro pencil is not appropriate for. So I got tired of people, looking at somebody who's struggling and realizing, oh, it's because you want to use the micro pencil. So they just got taken away and banned. All right, I'm still not getting the 1.8 volts on that line. All right, so that is LCM enable. It's not exactly clear where LCM enable comes from. So I'm not sure why it's not present. So one thing I could do is to run a long jumper just to rule out the possibility that there is some sort of a partial break at some point that is, still a good enough connection to give me a beep, but not really good enough to hold the voltage. So I guess that's where I'll start. I'll just run a jumper to see if that's the case. Let's see, which pin was it that I need to go to? Oh, gotta go back to diode mode. Anything else happening in chat?
Here, so I can use my phone.
Alright, so it's this guy.
Stop!
Your floor, baby.
I'm going to pretend to be fly.
So for this, I'm going to use a little bit stronger of a wire.
Would be tricky because the question on the left. It would be much.
Alright. Got that connected. Yeah, Fiona? Yeah? Is that right? You don't say. Okay. Oh, really? That's amazing.
I saw.
Oh my god, he talked to me!
Yeah.
Hello, Maxwell. Are you feeling left out?
She's all hand gestures and pointing.
There we go.
I don't want the nuts open because I don't want Fiona to be able to reach them because she'll pull them.
Alright, if this doesn't give me image, I'm going to end the stream early just because I have been sitting here for longer than I intended to, and I would like to get up and see my family that just got home. So hopefully this will give us image. But if not, well, too bad. Okay, let's see what we have. Nope, still no image. Oh well, I'm gonna have to come back to this.
Yeah.
So I may put this aside and finish the repair on stream later, or I may just finish it without streaming. I don't know. But thanks for hanging out with me and watching. Appreciate you guys. So have a good one. Oh, before I go, Paul Day here says, is the diode in the correct direction? With these little SMD diodes, they can go either way. So they're kind of like caps in that respect. All right, so have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching. See you later.